Howdy y'all, Amber here and welcome back to Ginger Cowgirl's Nook. Today we will be coloring out of Gothic Cuties Creepy Kawaii coloring book by Yu. I absolutely love Yu. I've watched her for a very long time and I will link her channels up in the cards. She has two. She has Yu and she has Fun to Draw, so I will link them up there so you guys can go check her out. So today I thought we would be coloring this cutie right here, and as always I've already colored her skin, and I went in with my black, and as you can see I colored the pupils that I wanted black. So let's get started. I have much to tell you guys. So let's see, let's use our toiletries today. I hope everybody is doing well. I hope everybody is having a good week. I know I've had quite a few good weeks. I got a lot to talk to you guys about, so let's get started. So the first thing I want to do is take this bright green color. And we're going to color these little drippy thingies. So a lot has happened since I last talked to you guys. So I started both my zoo internship and I started my security job. So excited about that, by the way. What should we talk about first? What should I talk about first? That's the hard part. Let's talk about today. So today is March 4th. It's Thursday. And it's about 9 o'clock at night. You will not see this video until Monday because I pre-record my videos. But let me tell you about today. So today was my fourth day at the zoo, and they actually kept me pretty busy today. So usually you go there, you get, they have a little list of things that they expect you to do being an intern, and you just pretty much work through your little list. Well, today, just to give you kind of an idea of what I do, so today I was responsible for feeding the sandbills and making sure their feed dishes their feed containers out by their enclosures were full. I also had to check the miniyuk food. If you don't know what a miniyuk is, it's a type of very, very small deer. Check their food. And then we are opening the zoo tomorrow, so we are doing a lot of cleanup work, so like raking leaves and picking up sticks out of the canal, and I hung up some bird houses today in the aviary because we needed some more, and that's kind of what I did today. But today I also cleaned the meat fridge today, and planned out the enclosure of where I wanted to put the bird houses in the aviary enclosure, so that was a lot of fun. And I had to remember, so I had to put the houses in, and I had to remember that I am the only girl that is tall enough to reach where I originally wanted to put the boxes. Now that's fine and well, but it's egg laying time, and my coworkers would not be able to check the birdhouses for eggs that are being laid. So I had to kind of rethink a little bit. So some of the birdhouses have top openings and some have side openings. Now, if it had a side opening, obviously I was able to hang them up high because the whole side opens so that even my shorter co-workers can check them. Also, though, they, so that they could reach them as well. And then the top ones, I just had to move to lower parts. They were still able to go exactly where I wanted them to go. I just had to do lower ones. No big deal. Not a big whoop. So it was pretty boring today up at the zoo. However, it's not always really boring. My first day there was boring. I had to do a lot of yard work, which was fine. And my second day, I got to play with the blue and gold macaws, along with some other duties. My fourth day there, I was able to feed the coyotes and take care of the herpins, which, in case you didn't know what those are your lizards and your reptiles. So it was really, really awesome. Also, we have a deer that's up there. His name is Unique. And I was talking to the zoo director because I got to meet him for the first time, like my second day there. And obviously, I thought it was really, really cool. It's a male mule deer that is there at the zoo. But he's like a puppy dog. Like, he really wants you to come up and pet him and love on him and all those type of things. And if he feels like you're not giving him enough attention, he gets upset and he wants you to give him the attention that he deserves. So he kind of like paws at your feet, which I don't know about you, but I think that's awesome. I really like that, actually. I think it's so fun. I think it's so cute. I really, 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 really actually enjoy being around Unique. So the last time I was there, I was helping the zoo director unload the, bags of feed. And I was telling him that I met Unique and that he's like a puppy dog. And he said that he would love to get Unique more involved with the public. And I'm like, well, have you tried to put a halter on him or a leash on him and kind of lead him around? He says no, but it would be a possibility if we could get somebody to trust him enough and put in the time to work with him. And I'm like, I think you train him a lot like a horse, from my understanding. But I wasn't for sure, so I'm like, so that would be good if we could get him, halter trained. Then he would walk around, and be out with the public, like, where they could see him and stuff, and he would probably just follow us. Problem is, we can't provide any, if he's following us, there's no lifeline, we say. What I mean by that is, like, a lifeline would be a leash or something like that, to where if he, something does happen, the keeper's able to keep control of him rather than just letting him free roam. If that makes sense. So I'm like, yeah, I bet you we could train him like a dog. Or, I mean, not like a dog, but like a horse. And it actually might work really, really well. So I'm like, okay, and we just stopped talking about it, and so I went home, and out of curiosity, I tried to find pages, videos, anything like that of things like that being trained, you know, just so I have a basis to go off of. Well, that was awesome. It worked really, really well. And I found there is a couple of pages all about training deers. And obviously, before I say anything, obviously, we can't keep deers as pets here in the U.S., but there is places around the world where you can keep deers as pets. And obviously, it's out of the U.S., and so I looked into those places because I wanted to know, like, you know, how they trained them. And there was a lot of them that were collar trained, which we could probably do with Unique. But the only problem that I have with that is I'm afraid that it wouldn't be enough security for Unique, if you know what I mean. So then I saw a few that had halters, like horse halters on them, and I'm like, well, that would be the way to go, because I don't know any animal that I don't want to say disobeys, but I don't know any animal that that you halter break that you really have, you know, issues with. And, you know, because it puts pressures on their nose, you know, so they follow you or whatever the case may be. So I did all that research, and at first it was just on my own. I just wanted to know. And then as I got reading about it, I'm like, you know what? That's actually really something I can do, because I have trained so many different horses, from yearlings to, you know, mares to colts, foal, you know, all of them, that if you train them how you do a horse, I am pretty sure. Now, it all depends on the animal, because, you know, it could stress them out too much. It could cost, you know, stress that doesn't need to be there. I mean, of course, there'll be stress always when they start a new thing, but I honestly don't think it will be that hard with Unique, because the zoo got Unique because it was a pet, a family pet. And, you know, what do they know? They didn't know that deers got big. I don't know how you can not know that, but whoever this owner was, you know, didn't think that they would get big, which, trust me, I don't understand, but all to their own. I'm not dissing on anybody. So he is very friendly, very, very friendly. And, I think if he put his trust in a zookeeper, that he would actually do great. You know, obviously, you know, and I bet, I don't know for sure, but I bet Unique would be okay with guests and stuff petting him, because like I said, we go over into his enclosure and he comes up to us willingly and wants us to pet him, and then kind of gets upset at us when we don't. So after reading all this research, and I mean, I spent hours and hours and hours on the phone, on my phone, on my laptop, because I talked to him about this last Tuesday, and so it's been a whole almost week and a half, because it wasn't the Tuesday that was this week, it was last Tuesday that I had talked to the zoo director about it. And since then, I have been doing so much research about it, because I'm one of those people, like, if I'm taking on a new responsibility with an animal, I will find as much information as I can about that animal. So I did all this research to try to figure out, you know, how they train them, because you know they can be trained. You see it all over the place. And then, like, all of that. And so by me doing all of that, I realized that I could totally probably train this deer to walk on a leash with the halter. So I talked to the zoo director today, and I told him that after we had spoken about what he wanted to do with Unique, that I went home and did a ton of research, which I did. And it seems that the people who do have them as pets train them like they do horses. Or dogs, for that matter. And so I'm like, all right, I could totally do this. So told Troy that because his biggest concern is that nobody would put in the time to, help train Unique. And so I told him, I said I would put in the time, to train her, because usually when I go to the zoo, I have my list, and I am usually done with my list, and usually about 3 or 4, and I'm scheduled till 5, but there's a lot of times that I stay after 5, and I, can just continue to help the zoo. And so that gives me the opportunity to be able to train her, or him, that hour when I'm not working or anything like that, because I've already done all my stuff. Now, however, before I get too far ahead, you guys, we really don't train them for an hour. No. We actually train them for 10 to 15 minutes. And so I'm like, I could actually really probably do this. And so I was talking to the zoo director, and I'm like, I honestly think that I could do it, And he's like, are you sure? I said, yeah, I'm sure I would, and I wouldn't be telling you that if I am saying I can do it, then I can do it. If I'm unsure if I could do it, I'll be like, I think I can, or I'm pretty sure I can. Or if it's something that I know I can't do, I'm very honest, and I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I just can't do that. So he's like, you really think that you could do it? I said, according to everything I read, they train them like horses, and I've trained many, 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 many horses. I used to live on a ranch, for goodness sake, and we would go with my ex-husband family, and since my ex-husband is Hispanic Indian, we would go on the reservations, or not reservations, but the tribe land, and we would go and catch the wild horses, and then we were usually able to pick one of the wild horses to keep, and the rest went to the auction place. And I have trained many horses, from full-grown horses that we found on the tribe land to colts, to yearlings, to, everything else. And, you train them to get used to the halter, you train them to get used to leading, you train them to get used to being able to have their feet picked up for the farrier and stuff like that, all of which you have to do with all hooven animals. So, and even though a horse is not a hooven animal, you still got to take care of their feet pretty much the same way. So I told him, I said, yeah, I really think that I could do it, Troy. I said, I'm not sure how long it will take me, because, I'm the new person that just started there, and, so he doesn't have, built full trust with me yet, but he trusts me enough to go into his enclosure and pet him and follow me around, and, I'm able to pet like his thigh area, which is almost you know, pretty close to the feet if you just keep going, you know, down a little bit on a deer. And so I'm like, yeah, I think that I could do it. And he goes, okay, let's start with, you know, getting his feet used to being picked up first so that the farrier could come in and, you know, take care of his hooves and trim them and, you know, all that stuff that we got to do. I'm like, let's start there. And then I honestly think that I'll be able to do this, you guys. I'm not sure how much time it will take me, but I honestly think that I can do it. So I'm really, really excited about that. I'm super excited to start on that journey. Very excited, actually. So I'll start doing that the next day that I go there. And currently I go there every Tuesday and Thursday, and then if I can on like Saturdays. I go there on Saturdays if I can as well. So hopefully that will, you know, over a few months or so, it'll get to where I can lead him around. And I think that I'm kind of a little bit ahead of the game thanks to the previous owner that he was kind of like a puppy for, because the hardest part about like training a deer is their fear of people. And obviously Unique doesn't have a fear of people because he was raised, you know, by somebody since he was a fawn. And then, you know, they realized that he got too big and then he came to the zoo. So that's half the battle won right there. And the hardest part of the battle is getting him used to trusting to be around people. I mean, I'm still going to have to get him to trust me to, you know, like pick up his feet, and for him to trust me enough to walk around with him on the lead, knowing that I will be there for him and I will make, you know, if he's nervous, I'll make people leave him alone, if, you know, all that stuff. So I'm really, really excited for that journey. And I'm hoping that it goes well. And I'm hoping that it will work out great. So we'll see how that happens. Anyway, so yeah, that's fine, babe. Sorry about that. My husband came in and he went and bought me lunch for work tomorrow, and was just coming and show me what he got me, and wanted to know where I wanted him to put it. Anyways, so back to what I was saying. So I think that will make it, you know, I think Unique being comfortable with people would be the biggest hurdle that I had to jump. But since he's already comfortable with people, I just have to focus on lifting up his feet and him getting used to wearing a halter and a lead and being led around. And I need him to trust, you know, I need to earn his trust enough so that he knows that if he's starting to, you know, get irritated or antsy or anything like that, that I would be able to recognize those signs so I could, you know, remove him from the situation. Maybe it's, you know, having him go back to his enclosure if it's too much. Maybe it's just taking a couple steps back from people, or telling people, sorry, we can't pet him right now, or even having people, you know, step back away from him. So I'm really excited about this. I hope it goes as well as I want it to. I don't think that it will, I think it will be hard. Anyway, so I told Troy, or not Troy, sorry, I don't know where I got that from. I told the zoo director that, that I would be willing to put in the time and get him to trust me. Even because right now I'm just a intern, so I'm not hired on at the zoo, but I'm like, I will put in the time with Unique to see where we can go with this. And he gave me the go ahead to do it, so I'm super excited about that. So on Tuesday, when I go back to the zoo, I will be able to start doing that. So on Tuesday, I get to start doing that, and I'm super excited about it. And so I think I'm going to just try, because he seems pretty comfortable with my presence, being in his enclosure, petting him and stuff. So I think what I'm going to do is, to kind of judge, how he's feeling and his trust in me. I think I'm just going to, go in and just start petting him, and then slowly move to different areas of his body. Because I believe that would give me a good judge of how much he does trust me, to see where he's comfortable with me touching him. Because if he's comfortable with me, rubbing clear down his leg, then I just have to work on like getting him comfortable enough for me to lift up his hoof. However, if he's not comfortable with me touching his legs or any further than his hip, which is what I can touch. So right now I could pet his head, clear down his back, and then his hip area. That I know I could still pet, and him not have a problem with it. So if I could pet, maybe down his leg or something, then I just have to work on him getting trust enough for me to, lift it up. And that's not just that I go down his leg and lift it up. No, that's I go down his leg, he gets, used to me touching his hooves and kind of putting pressure on them, and then working from there to just pick up his foot, set it back down, pick up his foot, set it back down, to being able to pick up his hoof and bend it at the ankle joint to turn it up, or hold it straight, depending on if it's the front or the back legs, because that's how a farrier would hold his feet to do what he needs to do. Also, I have to get, because right now it's just touch, like rubbing down the back or on the hip. It's not him having to lean on me with my, like the whole side of my body touching the whole side of his, in which case we will have to do for the farrier to be able to work on his feet. So that is my plan for starting to work with Unique. And like I said, after he gets comfortable with me doing that, then we'll slowly, get used to him, like the harness. So that means that I'll have the harness with me as I'm going in there and I'm petting him and, lifting up his feet and stuff, so that he gets used to it, like being on my shoulder, which is how I would walk with it in, and mainly the rope, the lead rope, touching different parts of his body, or, maybe dragging on the floor by him, or, maybe going around his neck, and all of these things. A first step to doing that is to get him, to where he trusts you enough, and then, bringing those things in slowly, and, it will literally just start off with me just having the halter, like, in my hand as I'm petting him and loving on him and all of that. And then when he gets used to that, then, like, the halter and the rope, being around him with me holding it, him seeing it, him getting used to its smell, its touch, kind of thing. Or not its touch, but its smell, seeing it in my hand, seeing it wave around, as I'm walking. and or when I'm like grabbing his feet or petting his body or all that. And then the next step would be slowly introducing him to the touch of the rope, the touch of the halter, and it will always be, I will always start where he's most comfortable being touched. So right now, he is most comfortable being touched on his back. So it'll be me slowly touching it to his back, taking it off, touching it to his back, taking it off, touching it to his back, taking it off. You know, just maybe the tip of it. And then as he gets used to it, putting the whole halter on his back, taking it off, whole halter on his back, taking it off. And so on and so forth. And then I will move it to different parts of his body. You know, I will start putting it, you know, around kind of on his neck. You know, and then when he's comfortable with it on his neck, then moving it up to his head and all of that. And then when he gets used to the touch of it, then I would be able to start getting him used to having, you know, the rope around his neck. Because when you grab an animal, well, maybe you won't have to with Unique, but usually when you're training a new horse, to get used to a halter, you take the rope, you know, you put it around his neck, and then you have both hands to deal with, you know, the halter. So that would be the next step. Him getting used to me standing to the side of him, moving the halter, you know, around his head and face with the rope around his neck, you know, just draped around his neck. And then when he's used to that, then we'll slowly start getting him used to it. You know, the halter maybe just going over the tip of his nose and so on and so forth, so on and so forth in little teeny tiny baby steps until I'm able to put that halter on him and him be comfortable in it. And then the next thing that I need to do is then I need to get him used to the pressure that the halter will put, you know, like on his nose when I clip the lead rope to it and when I'm trying to walk him with it. So it will definitely be a lot of work to get him to the point where, you know, we could get him so used to his halter and comfortable that he's able, you know, to walk around the zoo with us. And let me clear something up. I will get him used to walking around with me with that halter in his enclosure first. And then it would slowly be the back part of the zoo where, you know, he gets out of his enclosure. And then the side of the zoo way, way, way before we'll ever bring him, you know, to where the people are. And then we will get him used to, after he's used to being, you know, at the side of the zoo and back by his enclosure, then the next biggest hurdle, which I believe is going to be the next biggest hurdle, is getting him used to the sights and sounds of the zoo that are going to be right next to him instead of, you know, far off like they are in his enclosure. Because obviously, you know, he's a deer, so he has one of the bigger enclosures, and, you know, the farthest from, much farther from the other parts of the zoo where like the macaws and stuff are, that are the, what I'm going to call the loud animals are. So then we're going to have to get him used to those animals being closer, and more importantly, the peacocks that are free roam. The peacocks and turkeys that are free roam. We're going to have to really get him used to that. And then when he's comfortable walking throughout the whole zoo, then, you know, we'll get him comfortable with people. You know, being right around him and walking through people as they're walking past him and stuff, which I don't think will be as hard as him getting used to being the animals being around him and the sounds being much closer, because he's used to people. You know, like, well, okay, maybe not used to people, but He was hand raised by people. And so I don't think, and I could be wrong, but I don't think it would be that hard for him to get used to the people that walk around the zoo. So, except for maybe like the little kids, maybe possibly like running up to him or something. I could see that being a issue because we're used to, walking slow to them, saying their names, letting them know that we're coming way before we're even around them, which people aren't going to do when they see him walking through the zoo on a leash, like on a halter, like a horse, or a leash. Halter, leash, same thing. It's going to be a halter with a lead rope, but you know what I mean? So, yeah. It's going to be a long road ahead of me, or it could be a simple road. It all depends on the animal and how well he's used to adapting and not adapting and stuff like that. But it's going to be really exciting ride. It's going to be so awesome when I finally accomplish the goal that I am wanting to accomplish. It'll be awesome. So yeah, I'm actually really, really, really excited about that. So we will see how it goes. So I'm really, really excited about that step in the zoo. Seeing where it goes. But other than that, I really love being at the zoo. It's like heaven on earth to me, getting to be around all these animals and learning what they eat and what kind of stuff they like in their habitats and, enrichment, and all these fun things that we do with that you learn at the zoo. So awesome. So awesome. And a blessing. One of the best blessings I think I've ever been able to have in my life. I mean, and it's not all fun and games. It's not all, playing with exotic animals. It's a lot of work, you guys. Keeping enclosures clean and constantly providing enrichment and constantly, preparing huge quantities of food and keeping track of all that food and all that stuff. So, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. I really wouldn't. And so I am very happy that I got the internship at the zoo here in, my town. And this zoo's just a little zoo. It's a very, very small zoo. It's not a big one. But I did also put in an internship with the really big zoo. That's like 2 hours away from where I live. Because this little zoo is mainly like really small things. Like we don't have lions or tigers or bears or anything like that. We have our wildcat is a I can't remember what it's called now. Oh my gosh. It's like a bobcat, but it's not a bobcat. Lynx? A lynx. I think that's what it is called. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm spacing the name of it right now. Anyways, it's a smaller cat like a bobcat, and it has tufts on its ears. That's as far as it goes for big cats. And then we have, what do we have? We have that cat, we have a lynx, we have an elk, we have a deer, we have reindeer, we have porcupines, turkeys, pelicans. As far as small primates go, We do have spider monkey and some spider monkeys and some lemurs. That's about as close to monkeys as we have. We have foxes. Like there's so many animals at the zoo, but they're all smaller animals. And I thought that I would kind of not, like I knew I would love working at the zoo, but I thought I would kind of be disappointed because of how small this zoo is. And I mean, I've been to the zoo. Like I've been to the zoo here before I started interning there, and I thought I would be like disappointed because it's such a small zoo, but I'm not, you guys. I'm not disappointed in the slightest that it's such a small zoo. In fact, I think it's awesome that it's a small zoo because it gives me, you know, I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, I don't know how to explain it, so I'm just going to leave it at that. I am thankful that it's a small zoo, and I'm not disappointed at all. But then I also put in the internship for the big zoo a couple, hours away from me. And I'm actually really, really, really excited about that one. I did get a email today saying that they usually pick the applicants, and I usually know by the end of March. So I'm hoping that I get into that one. But that one's going to take up a lot more of my time. So for that one, the zoo that I'm at right now, it's the most they require an intern to do is like one day for 5 to 6 hours. And that's really, 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 really like a small quantity. I've just decided, you guys, that I want to put some gel pen in this. So give me a minute. I'm going to go get my gel pens and I'll be right back. Alright, you guys, I'm back. I just went and got my Toiletry 32 glitter gel pen set. Looks like this. That I will be picking gel pens to enhance some certain pieces in here. I'm not sure what, but I'm probably definitely going to enhance the roses for sure. I think that will be fun. And I just picked a blue close to the blue that I colored them. Obviously it's not perfect match, but close. And I am just tracing around the line art, I guess you could say, to give this little glittery effect. Anyway, so as I was saying, the internship that I'm at now, they only require you to have one day, 3 or 4 hours, I believe is what it is. Whereas, and it's just in my town, so I don't gotta worry about like travel or anything like that, because it's literally like just down from my house, so it's not that big of a deal. But that thing. And then the big zoo internship, you're required to be there 40 hours a week, and it lasts from May to August, I believe. And they don't supply for gas or anything like that. You're not getting paid for the internship, so it's like a lot more time spent at the zoo. Plus it's not like, because right now one day I could be taking care of birds, the next day I could be taking care of snakes, and sometimes I take care of all of them in one day. Whereas at the big zoo, I will be placed in one internship that only deals with the exact same animals the whole time that I'm there. So we'll see if I get into it. I had to apply for this one, like I had to write a resume, and a cover letter and all of this stuff. So we will see how that works out. I really hope it does work out. So but we'll see. We will see. And if it don't, I'll still have this internship. And even if I do get the big internship, I think I would still make time for my little internship. So like I said, it's only one day, 3 to 4 hours. So, yeah. It's like kind of hard because part of me wishes, like, obviously part of me really wants the big internship, but at the same time part of me wishes I don't get the big internship because I'm happy with the little internship, but also because I feel if I do a good job at my little internship, I would be more likely to get hired on in my little internship than in the big internship where there's many of us competing for the same internship spot, and you know what I mean. So plus I really like to help small businesses, and I kind of feel like that's what this zoo is, the zoo that I'm interning at now. But we'll see. I will be happy if I get the big one. I will not be disappointed if I don't get the big one. So we will just see what the cards have for me. I do really like that. I'm gonna make her eyeliner glittery. Why not? Yeah, I like that. That's what I'm going to do with the gel pens, I think, and I think that's all I want to do with the gel pens. Yeah. I think that's all I want to do with them. Okay, so for the background, not exactly sure what I want to do with the background. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what I want to do with the background, so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this picture has inspired you to go check out Mayu's channel. Like I said, her 2 channels will be linked up in the card above. So if you like this type of content, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out to know what y'all like so that I can keep putting out videos for y'all. And if you do subscribe to my channel, go ahead and hit that little notification bell so you will get a notification each time I upload a new video. And as always, be wild, be crazy, be bold, be you, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter do not mind. Until next time, bye guys!